Thanks for tuning in. This deep dive is brought to you by DigyKeys. I'm Ethan Carter,
And I'm Madison Brooks.
and together we'll be sharing tips to help improve your focus and concentration.
Yeah.
You sent us some pretty interesting material from DigyKeys about building a morning routine to supercharge your focus, and I'm really excited to dive into it with you.
Yeah, me too.
What's often overlooked, I think, is the science behind these seemingly simple habits.
Right.
But they're not just about willpower. They're actually tapping into your brain and body's natural rhythms and processes
Absolutely.
to actually optimize your mental state throughout the day.
Yeah, it's not just like a...
Not like a mind trick.
Yeah, it's like a life hack, but it's actually rooted in science.
Right. Okay, so the first habit that really stood out to me in the material that we got was waking up at a consistent time.
Yeah.
I've heard this before, but I'm always curious to hear more about the why behind it.
Sure, so it all comes down to your circadian rhythm, which is basically like your body's internal clock. Okay.
That regulates your sleep-wake cycles, your hormone production,
Okay.
and a lot of other things. And when you stick to a consistent wake-up time, you're basically reinforcing that rhythm.
Okay.
And that leads to more stable energy levels, better sleep quality,
Oh, wow.
improved cognitive functions, so many things.
Yeah, so it really is kind of like setting a foundation
Exactly, yeah. It's like setting a reliable foundation for your entire day.
for your whole day. So it's not just about being disciplined.
Right.
It's about working with our biology.
Yeah, absolutely. Working with your body, not against it.
Right, but what about those mornings when, like, hitting snooze just feels so tempting?
Oh, yeah.
How do we overcome that urge?
It's really all about creating that positive feedback loop.
Okay.
So when you resist that snooze button and you wake up consistently, you actually start experiencing the benefits firsthand.
Okay.
You feel more focused, you have more energy.
You have, like, a smoother start to your day. Exactly. And that positive reinforcement just, like, helps solidify that habit.
I like that.
Yeah, and here's another tip that I found to be helpful. Using a sleep tracker
Okay.
can provide personalized insights into your sleep patterns.
Oh, wow.
And that can actually help you pinpoint that optimal wake-up time.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, that aligns with your natural rhythm.
I love that, like using data to make better decisions.
Exactly.
All right, so speaking of getting a jump start on the day, the next habit that really stood out to me in this deep dive was morning exercise.
Yeah.
Now, I know exercise is good for us,
Of course.
but I'm always curious to learn more about the connection between morning movement and mental clarity.
So it's really fascinating how even a short burst of exercise in the morning can just, like, prime your brain for focus.
Oh, wow.
It does this by increasing blood flow,
Okay.
delivering oxygen and nutrients to your brain.
So it's like fueling your brain.
Yeah, exactly, like fueling those cognitive processes.
It's cool.
And it's not even just about the blood flow. Exercise also triggers the release of endorphins. Those mood-boosting chemicals that can help reduce stress and really sharpen your focus.
Interesting. Okay, so it sounds like it's not just about the physical benefits,
Right.
but it's also about setting the stage
Absolutely.
for a more productive and focused mindset.
Exactly. Yeah, it's like you wouldn't expect a car to run smoothly without warming up the engine, right?
Oh, yeah.
So morning exercise is kind of like warming up your brain.
I like that analogy.
Yeah, getting those cognitive gears turning, ready to take on the day.
Yeah, and I know for a lot of people, even myself included, who spend a lot of time sitting at desks, it's like an extra important thing to do to reset.
Yeah, it's like a reset button for both your body and your mind.
Absolutely. And there's also, the cortisol aspect too, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Which we talked about in previous episodes.
Yeah, so morning exercise can help regulate cortisol, which is a hormone that plays a key role in your stress response, energy levels, focus, everything. And by incorporating a workout into your morning,
Right.
you're essentially optimizing those cortisol levels,
Okay.
setting a more balanced and productive tone for the day.
So it's like we're talking about this cascade of positive benefits.
Exactly, yeah. It's like a chain reaction of benefits.
That's really cool.
For both your brain and your body.
All right, now that we've covered the importance of consistent wake-up times and morning exercise, let's move on to another crucial element of a focus-boosting morning routine.
A balanced breakfast.
All right.
Now, I'm a big believer in the power of breakfast,
Me too.
but I'm always looking for ways to kind of optimize my morning meal for peak performance.
Yeah.
So what should we be focusing on here?
So think of your brain as like a high-performance machine
Okay.
that needs the right fuel to operate at its best. Skipping breakfast or choosing those sugary processed foods
Yeah.
can actually lead to energy crashes, foggy thinking, difficulty concentrating.
It's like trying to run a car with no gas. Exactly. Yeah, you're not going to get very far.
So what kind of fuel should we be giving our brains?
A balanced breakfast that combines complex carbohydrates, protein, and healthy fats
Okay.
is really key to sustained energy and focus.
Okay, can you break that down for me a little bit more?
Sure. So, complex carbs, like whole grains, provide that slow and steady release of energy,
Oh, okay.
which helps keep you feeling full and focused for longer.
That makes sense.
And protein helps stabilize your blood sugar levels.
Right.
It provides amino acids, which are the building blocks for neurotransmitters,
Wow.
which are essential for brain function.
Okay.
And then healthy fats, found in foods like avocado, nuts, and seeds, they support brain health and cognitive function as well.
Okay, so it's like we're creating this synergy
Yeah, exactly.
of nutrients that work together to power our brains throughout the morning.
Absolutely.
Do you have any go-to breakfast examples
I do.
that embody this balance?
Okay, so one of my absolute favorites is avocado toast with an egg. Yeah, it's simple, it's delicious, and it's packed with all of those essential nutrients. You've got the complex carbs from the whole grain toast, the healthy fats from the avocado, and the protein from the egg.
Okay, and that's pretty quick to make too, right?
Yeah, it's super quick and easy to make.
Which is great for those busy mornings.
Absolutely.
So we've got consistent wake-up times, morning exercise, and a balanced breakfast.
Right.
What's next in our journey to create a focus-boosting morning routine?
All right, so next we're diving into the world of mindfulness and meditation.
Okay.
So these practices are all about training your brain to be present,
Right.
which is such a valuable skill in today's
I
world.
was going to say, especially in today's hyper-connected world, where
Exactly.
there's so many distractions.
Yeah, distractions are everywhere.
Constantly vying for our attention.
Exactly. So tell me, how do you think mindfulness combats those distractions?
Well, I've heard it described as like weightlifting for your attention.
That's a great way to put it.
You know, it's like strengthening your ability to focus on what's important and filter out all that noise.
Absolutely, yeah. It's like building that mental resilience to distractions so you can stay focused and present even amidst the chaos.
Even amidst the chaos.
Yeah.
So for somebody who's maybe never tried mindfulness before,
Right.
how would they actually incorporate that into their routine?
So one of the simplest and most effective techniques is mindful breathing.
Okay.
So find a comfortable seated position, close your eyes, and just focus on the sensation of your breath as you inhale and exhale.
Okay.
Notice the rise and fall of your chest, the coolness of the air as it enters your nostrils, and the warmth of the air leaving your body.
That sounds very calming.
It is.
And I imagine even just a few minutes of that could make a difference.
Absolutely. Even just 5 minutes of focused breathing can have a noticeable impact on your mental state.
Wow.
Yeah, it's like hitting the pause button on that busy mind and giving yourself that moment of stillness and clarity.
Right. What about guided meditations?
Those are great too.
Yeah.
There are tons of great apps and online resources out there. A lot of them have free trials.
Oh, nice.
So you can just experiment and see what really resonates with you.
Okay. And I've also heard that meditation can actually physically change the brain.
It's true.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So studies have shown that regular meditation can actually thicken the prefrontal cortex,
Wow.
which is the part of the brain responsible for attention, decision-making, executive function.
All the important stuff.
Yeah, all the important stuff. So essentially, by practicing mindfulness, you're strengthening those neural pathways that are associated with focus and cognitive control.
That's incredible. So we're not just talking about like a temporary state of calm.
Right.
We're actually building a more focused and resilient brain
Exactly.
over time.
Over time, and as we transition to the next habit, you'll see how all of these practices we've talked about so far start to really work together to create that solid morning routine that sets you up for success.
All right, I'm ready to hear more. Let's talk about that final habit.
Okay, so the final piece of the puzzle is strategic day planning.
Okay.
It's about creating that roadmap for your day that helps you stay on track, prioritize your tasks, and avoid feeling overwhelmed by all of those demands.
So like creating a plan to navigate the day.
Exactly, yeah. It's like having a clear path through a dense forest.
Yeah.
You know where you're going, and you're less likely to get lost in all the distractions.
Okay, and one of the key elements of this, I think, is identifying your top 3 tasks for the day.
Absolutely. Those are the tasks that are most aligned with your goals,
Right.
that require the most focus and energy, and are really going to move the needle forward on your most important projects.
Yeah, so being really intentional with your time,
Exactly.
aligning your actions with your bigger goals.
Yeah, and it's all about, finding that planning system that works for you. Whether that's a physical planner, a digital to-do list app, or a combination of both.
Whatever works for you.
Exactly. And then taking some time each evening or each morning to really review your schedule. Identify those top 3 tasks.
Right.
Break them down into smaller, more manageable steps.
Right.
And allocate specific blocks of time for each task.
That's a great tip.
Yeah.
Like creating a blueprint for your day.
Exactly.
With clear steps and timelines.
Yeah.
And this is also where I think, the concept of digital minimalism comes into play.
Oh, absolutely. Digital minimalism is all about being intentional with your technology use.
Right.
Minimizing those distractions, setting boundaries with your devices.
So like silencing your notifications.
Yes, silencing those notifications, putting your phone on airplane mode if you need to.
Right.
Resisting the urge to constantly check social media.
So it's like taking back your attention.
Yes, exactly. Reclaiming your attention.
And directing it to where it needs to go.
And directing it toward what truly matters.
All right, so to recap, we've covered 4 key habits for boosting focus in the morning.
Right.
Consistent wake-up times, morning exercise, a balanced breakfast, and strategic day planning.
Yeah.
So it's like we've created this foundation
Yes.
for a more focused and productive day.
A more focused and productive life.
But is there anything else that we should keep in mind?
I think one of the most important things to keep in mind is to be patient with yourself.
Okay.
Building new habits takes time and effort.
Yeah, it's not going to happen overnight.
It's not going to happen overnight, no.
Yeah.
So start with 1 or 2 habits that really resonate with you.
Okay.
And then gradually incorporate more as you find your rhythm.
Don't try to do everything at once.
Exactly. Don't try to do it all at once.
Yeah.
You'll just risk feeling overwhelmed and discouraged.
Right, and it's all about progress, not perfection.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's a journey, not a destination.
Okay, so start small, be patient,
Yeah.
and don't be afraid to experiment.
Yeah. Experiment and adjust your routine as needed.
What works for one person may not work for another.
Exactly. It's all about finding what helps you feel your best.
Right.
And set you up for a focused and productive day.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, this has been a really great start.
Yeah.
Our deep dive into the world of focus-boosting morning routines.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm excited to continue the conversation.
Yeah, me too.
In our next episode, or in your next part of this deep dive.
Yeah.
So stay tuned for more insights and strategies to help you supercharge your focus and make the most of your day.
Sounds good. And it's all about, finding that sweet spot where your routine feels empowering and energizing rather than restrictive or overwhelming.
I love that. So it's really about creating a routine that works for you.
Yeah.
Not against you.
Absolutely.
As we're talking about all these different habits,
Right.
I'm realizing how interconnected they all are.
They are.
Each one kind of builds upon the other one, creating this upward spiral of focus and productivity.
I completely agree. Yeah, it's like a synergistic effect.
Yeah.
For instance, a consistent wake-up time sets the stage for a successful morning workout.
Okay.
Which fuels a more productive workday.
Right.
That you've strategically planned out.
It's like this domino effect.
Exactly, yeah, like a domino effect.
A positive habit.
Of positive habits that all work together.
I love that.
Yeah.
And speaking of positive habits, I wanted to circle back to mindfulness and meditation.
Yeah.
Now, I've dabbled in meditation before.
Okay.
But I've always struggled to make it a consistent part of my routine.
Right.
Do you have any advice for overcoming those hurdles?
Consistency is really key with any habit, but especially mindfulness, I think.
Okay.
So instead of aiming for a lengthy meditation session right away, start with just 5 or 10 minutes each morning.
Okay.
You can gradually increase that duration as you become more comfortable with it.
Right.
Even just a few minutes of that focused breathing can really make a world of difference.
It's like the idea of those micro workouts that we've talked about.
Yeah, exactly. Like micro workouts for your mind.
Right. Just little bursts that can still provide benefits.
Exactly.
Now, finding a quiet space, I imagine, is essential.
It is, especially if you're sharing your living space with others.
Right.
Creating a dedicated space for your mindfulness practice,
Okay.
even if it's just a corner of your room, can really help signal to your brain that it's time to disconnect from the outside world
Okay.
and tune in to your inner world.
It's like creating a sanctuary.
Yeah, a sanctuary for your mind.
And what about guided meditations?
Those are great too,
Yeah.
especially for beginners.
Okay.
They provide that structure and support.
Right.
Think of it as having a personal trainer for your mind.
Okay.
They're guiding you through the practice,
Right.
helping you stay focused.
Okay.
And like I mentioned before, there are so many apps and online resources out there.
Right.
You can experiment with different voices, styles, lengths of meditations
Okay.
until you find what resonates with you.
That's a great tip.
Yeah.
Now, switching gears a bit,
Okay.
let's talk about morning exercise.
All right.
I'll admit I'm not exactly a morning person,
I hear that.
but I always feel so much more energized and focused
Right.
after a workout, even if it's a short one.
Yeah, a lot of people can relate to that.
Yeah,
I think the idea of morning exercise can be a little daunting,
it can be.
especially if you're not naturally a morning person.
Right.
But remember, even a small amount of movement
Right.
can make a big difference.
Yeah, we talked earlier about the science behind it, the
Yeah.
blood flow to the brain, releasing those endorphins.
Absolutely.
It's like priming your brain
Exactly.
for focus and productivity.
Yeah, it's like giving your brain that extra boost of energy and clarity it needs to function at its best.
And it doesn't have to be complicated, right?
It doesn't, no.
Like we talked about earlier, even a brisk walk,
Yeah.
some yoga stretches,
Mm-hmm.
even like a little dance party in your living room,
Oh, I love that.
just to get the blood flowing.
Yeah, get those endorphins pumping.
Exactly. And it makes me think about what you were saying earlier,
Mm-hmm.
about finding ways to make these habits enjoyable,
Right.
sustainable.
Absolutely.
It's not about forcing yourself into some rigid routine.
Yeah, it should feel good.
Yeah, it should feel good.
Not like a chore.
Right. It should be something that you look forward to.
That's such an important point.
Yeah. And speaking of enjoyable rituals,
Okay.
let's talk about breakfast.
All right.
Now, I'm a firm believer that breakfast is the most important meal of the day.
Me too.
And I'm always looking for new ideas
Mm.
to keep things interesting and nutritious.
Yeah.
So what are some of your favorite breakfast recipes or tips for creating that balanced brain-boosting meal?
For me, a balanced breakfast is all about combining those essential nutrients we talked about before. Complex carbohydrates for sustained energy, protein for satiety and focus,
Okay.
healthy fats to support brain function.
Okay.
One of my go-to recipes is overnight oats.
Oh, yeah. Overnight oats.
Yeah, they're so easy to prep.
They are, especially like the night before.
Yes, exactly, the
Yeah.
night before.
Yeah, which is a lifesaver on busy mornings.
It is a lifesaver. I usually add a scoop of protein powder,
Okay.
some chia seeds for extra fiber and omega-3s,
Right.
and a handful of berries
Okay.
for antioxidants and that burst of flavor.
I love berries.
Yeah, they're delicious.
All right, so what about if somebody's not a fan of oatmeal?
There are so many great options out there.
Yeah.
If you're craving something savory,
Okay.
avocado toast with an egg is always a great go-to.
It's a classic.
You've got that perfect balance of nutrients,
Right.
and it's quick and easy to make.
It is quick and easy.
And you can customize it in so many different ways.
Right. Add different toppings.
Yeah, like you can add everything bagel seasoning, sliced tomatoes.
A little bit of hot sauce.
Yes, a little drizzle of hot sauce if you like things spicy.
Okay, so we've talked about mindfulness, exercise, and breakfast,
Mm-hmm.
all really crucial elements of this routine.
Absolutely.
Now let's revisit that final habit,
Okay.
which was strategic day planning.
Strategic day planning, all right?
I'm curious to hear more about how we can make that work for us in like a really practical way.
So, strategic day planning is all about creating that roadmap that helps you stay focused and productive,
Right.
minimizing those feelings of overwhelm and decision fatigue.
Okay.
One thing that's really key is creating a dedicated workspace.
Okay.
Even if it's just a corner in your home.
Right.
Having a physical space that's dedicated to work
Mm-hmm.
really helps signal to your brain that it's time to focus.
Yeah, it's like creating that physical boundary
Right.
between work and personal life,
Exactly.
which can be hard when you're working from home,
Yeah, it can be.
but it's really important.
And then minimizing those digital distractions as well.
Right. Silencing the notifications.
Yes, silencing notifications,
Yeah.
putting your phone on airplane mode,
Right. You need to.
resisting that urge to constantly check social media.
It's like we're reclaiming our attention,
Yeah, reclaiming your attention.
directing it towards what matters.
And directing it towards what truly matter.
So what about using like a planner or a to-do list?
Those can be really helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're a great way to visually organize your tasks and create that clear plan for your day.
Okay.
Break down larger tasks into smaller, more manageable steps.
Right.
Allocate specific blocks of time for each task.
Like time blocking.
Exactly, time blocking.
So like creating that blueprint for your day.
Yeah, exactly.
Those clear steps and timelines.
And when you have that plan in place, you feel more in control of your time and your energy.
Right.
Which can significantly reduce your stress and really boost your focus.
Right, because you're not constantly like in that decision-making mode.
Exactly.
So you can just focus on the task at hand.
Exactly.
This has been such a great conversation.
Yeah, it has.
I feel like I've learned so much about these focus-boosting morning routines.
Me too.
I'm feeling inspired
I'm glad.
to incorporate these strategies and actually create a morning ritual that sets me up for success.
That's great.
What about you?
Yeah, I'm feeling really energized just thinking about all these different things we can try.
Yeah, it's about that journey of self-discovery and finding what really works best for you.
It's all about progress, not perfection.
Exactly.
You know, we're all on our unique paths, and it's exciting to experiment with these habits and see how they transform our lives.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I think as you start to incorporate these habits, it's important to like pay attention to how you feel.
Yeah, for sure.
What shifts do you notice
Yeah.
in your energy levels, in your focus, just in your overall well-being?
Absolutely.
Like we're becoming scientists of our own lives.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You know, observing the impact of these changes and then making adjustments
Exactly.
as needed.
Finding what works.
And speaking of valuable resources, I wanted to remind our listeners about DigyKeys,
Yes.
the sponsor of this episode.
Great sponsor.
They offer a wealth of resources on personal growth, productivity, and focus,
They do.
including their fantastic book,
Yes.
Ability to Focus.
Such a great book.
I haven't gotten a chance to read it yet.
You should. It's really good.
I'll have to check it out.
I think you'll enjoy it.
And for our listeners who are eager to enhance their focus and create a more productive and fulfilling life, I highly recommend exploring all the amazing resources that DigyKeys has to offer.
They have so much great stuff.
Well, this has been a fantastic conversation.
It has been.
Thank you so much for joining us today and sharing your expertise on this topic.
My pleasure. It's always fun to talk about the power of habits.
And to our amazing listeners,
Yes.
thank you for joining us on this deep dive into focus-boosting morning habits.
Yeah. Thanks for listening, everyone.
Hopefully you've gained some valuable insights
Yeah.
and are feeling inspired to create a morning routine that sets you up for success.
Absolutely.
Remember, small changes can lead to remarkable results.
That's true.
Thanks for listening. Don't forget to subscribe for more content. Visit DigyKeys.com for resources on personal growth and check out our book, Ability to Focus, to improve your concentration.
A good one.
See you next time.